Boy, what a great week here at Retiring Well. We're excited to bring you this week's show. We have 4 fun topics with a little special twist at the end this week. We're going to get into Medicare. What is that? How does this all work? And maybe how it impacts your retirement. How does ERISA affect your retirement? What is ERISA and what does it mean for you? Talking about bonds. Boy, a lot of talk about that right now with interest rates changing. What does that mean and how does that maybe fit in your portfolio? And wrapping up the show this week is a fun segment. John's going to have a couple of his kids on the show talking about retirement planning and maybe what does that mean for a young child to hear the word retirement.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Let's talk about Medicare. In the Gaylord office, I'm sure in the Traverse City office, and all of our offices, it's one of those very confusing topics that a lot of people have a bunch of questions on. In the Gaylord office, there's primarily 4 questions that we run into with regards to Medicare. What is it? Who's it for? What does it cover? And how much does it cost? You know, our government doesn't make it very easy for us to understand, but that's where we come into play. We're here to help answer those questions for you. So hopefully I can go through those 4 different questions and provide some answers for you so you have some clear understanding of what Medicare really is all about. So who's it for? Well, when you are either near or at the age of 65, that's when you want to really be considering thinking about Medicare, because that's who it's offered for, those people that are 65 and older. You can also get it prior to age 65 if you have a disability, but you have to have a qualifying disability for that. So Medicare is basically broken down into 4 different parts. Okay, we've got parts A, B, C, and D. Part A, we call that your hospital insurance. So you go visit the hospital, you spend a night in the ER or something like that, Part A is going to pick that up. Part B, we call that your doctor's insurance. So you go visit the doctor, you get your annual checkup, maybe it's an X-ray or an MRI, that's going to fall under Part B of Original Medicare. Then you have Part C. Okay, so Part C is basically all the parts of Medicare rolled into one. We call that the Advantage Plan. And then the 4th part, that's your prescription medication, or Part D, your drug plan. So all those 4 parts working together. What does it cover? Okay, and what does it cost? Well, as Part A, we already talked about, it covers your hospital stay. The cost associated with that, you're going to have no monthly premium. That's pretty neat, right? But you've paid into that your entire working life. So that's that Medicare tax right on your paycheck. However, there is a deductible. So that deductible is $1,500, well, $1,556 per benefit period. Once you pay that, you get 60 days in the hospital and you're not paying anything. After that, though, there's going to be some costs associated with it. On the Part B side, you've got your monthly premium. That's $170.10 for 2022. That does go up through the years, but that's directly deducted from your Social Security check. Unless you're not on Social Security, then they will bill you directly for that. For Part B, you do have a deductible as well, so that's $233. And then after that, Medicare will cover 80%, and then you're on the hook for 20%. Okay, so you can see with Original Medicare, there's a lot of different costs associated with it. So that's where those Advantage plans come into play, or the supplement plans come into play. You've basically got 2 directions to pick up on those different costs that you would incur by just having Original Medicare. And that's where those questions arise. Which way should I go? Should I go the supplement plan route or the Advantage plan route? And that's where we're here to help. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we have a team of health insurance professionals that can try to help answer those questions and get you in the plan that best fits your needs. So please, if you have any questions on Medicare, don't hesitate to reach out, give the number on the screen a call, and schedule a free, no obligation consultation.
Hey, what a great episode there for Nick to give us some insight on Medicare coverage, how it works. If you're sitting there with analysis paralysis, it makes sense. You know, recently in the Cadillac office, as I was working with a client, I could just tell this was an area of their learning that they just have not spent a lot of time. They were worried about it, but there were so many variables that they just, didn't want to go down that road. It was too overwhelming. And one of the benefits that we get to offer our clients is that holistic approach. So what happened in this situation is we sat down, we mapped out what their income plan was going to look like. We mapped out what their different investment options were going to be, and then we got to that healthcare timeline. This client was married, 62 years old, and was going to retire. Did not have a pension benefit for healthcare, and so we needed to go to the marketplace to help facilitate that healthcare for 3 years until they turned 65 and then could get into the Medicare plans. And all the way along, we get to teach, and we have staff on site here at Centennial that can help sign you up, but it starts with education. Plan first and then decide later.
That's so true, Jack. With so much of retirement, I've said this before, and if you watch the show for some time, we see people spending more time planning for their next vacation than they do this retirement journey. When I hear everybody talk about healthcare and think about that, you get inundated, if you're near Medicare age or you've seen that, inundated with mailers and phone calls and the pressure of doing this. It's a really important decision. As Nick talked about earlier in the show, with all these various options, it's very possible you could be on Medicare for 30 plus years, for people living longer. That's vitally important for you. Also remember, how does that health care fit into your overall plan? Jack talked about here, helping people and educate them, and also with the marketplace and all these sort of variables. It isn't just healthcare we have to worry about. These things can have other impacts on your financials, your taxes, all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, Art. It's so connected, and that's the fun part about our job. We get to strategize, we get to teach, and hopefully help you plan to retire well. So stay tuned. Coming up next, we are going to be teaching you about how ERISA affects your retirement accounts, and also a segment on bonds. Stay tuned.
In today's day and age, with a longer lifespan, you're more likely to encounter both good and bad market performance. For that reason, when planning for retirement, it's increasingly important to seek guidance from a financial advisor who can help you structure an income strategy that reflects your financial situation, risk tolerance, and investment objectives. You don't want just any advice, but objective financial advice. With so much at stake, it's important that you feel you can trust a financial advisor to consider a wide variety of possible solutions, including both investment and insurance products. Here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we're not beholden to any certain investment tools or vehicles. We're independent. We can offer a wide variety of investment tools that meet your needs. So please, if you have any questions or you want to schedule an initial consultation, don't hesitate to give us a call at the number on the screen. We're happy to help in any way that we can.
I'd like to share with you how ERISA impacts your retirement. So ERISA ultimately stands for the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, and this was enacted back in 1974. So it's meant to protect retirement assets for American workers. So the law mandates pensions, 401ks, and employee health care plans that follow specific guidelines to ensure that the plan administrators act in the best interest of the plan participants. So according to the U.S. Department of Labor, ERISA now covers 684,000 different retirement plans, 2.4 million health insurance plans, and 2.4 million welfare benefit plans. So ERISA rules are going to include information about the plan's features and funding, minimum standards for participation, vesting, fiduciary responsibilities for the people planning or managing the plan, and a whole lot more. So the key thing for ERISA covered plans is the accountability from a fiduciary running the plan. So again, a fiduciary is going to be an individual or team of individuals that's going to be looking out for your best interest. So not only is that important when you're looking at ERISA plans, but also when it comes to think of your own personal estate plan, when you're mapping out and figuring who you want to be the trustee, potentially if you have a trust, who you would want responsible to make sure that they're following through with the guidelines that you've laid out for your personal assets. So that's going to be vital when you're thinking of a fiduciary responsibility, or also when you're looking at a financial advisor that you may look to assist you with your overall retirement plan. Do they have and follow fiduciary responsibility when it comes to your overall retirement plan? And some of the areas that wouldn't be covered by ERISA may involve local, state, federal government or churches that wouldn't have those same guidelines. So here at Centennial Wealth Advisory, we ultimately are looking out for your best interest, and our goal is to help you plan to retire well. And so if you have questions specific to your investments or income planning, or tax planning, perhaps it comes to estate planning or health insurance planning, we have different team members that help in all those different areas, or partner with different firms that help to make sure that ultimately you have a plan to retire well.
If you're recently retired or considering retirement soon, we have a helpful tool for you right on our website at cen-wealth.com. The Retirement Checklist Challenge. You can download it right from our homepage, and it walks you through 34 different questions as you prepare and think about all the different things for retirement. It helps you set the stage and see if you're ready for that big change in your life to get into retirement.
NMC Extended Education is offering an educational class titled Retirement Secrets, Plan to Retire Well, presented by Jack Clunder, financial advisor at Centennial Wealth Advisory and a former educator of personal finance and mathematics. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, then this class is for you. Many things can threaten your ability to outlive your assets and retire well. The big three are healthcare, inflation, and taxes. Learn to navigate the critical issues that a retiree must deal with. You'll learn how to plan for predictable and sustainable income, minimize taxes on your IRAs, maximize your Social Security benefits, and avoid estate planning mistakes. We'll also discuss long-term care concerns and what investments are appropriate in different situations. The cost is only $69. Materials will be provided, and a spouse or guest may attend for free. The class will be held on 2 Wednesdays, September 21st and 28th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the NMC Great Lakes campus. Reserve your seats today by calling NMC at 231-995-1700. Again, that number is 231-995-1700. The class is called Retirement Secrets.
Let's take a little bit of time and talk about bonds, or some people call them fixed income instruments or financial instruments. So in times of interest rates fluctuations, bonds tend to garner more attention. So if interest rates are rising, bonds tend to drop in value or depreciate a little bit over time. If interest rates are dropping, then they tend to get a little more positive attention oftenly, as they may get a little appreciation of the underlying value. So first, let's step back though, and let me give you a basic definition of what is a bond. So a definition is really, it's a loan made by an investor to a borrower, typically corporate or government. Bonds are used by companies, municipalities, states, or other governments to finance projects and operations. Owners of the bonds are debt holders or creditors of the issuer. So you, if you're an investor and you own a bond, basically you become a creditor, right, against that company or government. So a government bond, think of a municipality or something like that. They are seeking a project, or they want to build a new school or something along those lines. So they're going to issue a bond. You as an investor then become the creditor, and they're owed you that money plus that set fixed interest they've declared. Corporations, they do the same thing. Corporate bonds, they issue those bonds and basically have that debt out there. You as the investor, once again, are owed that back, and then the interest paid. So when you are taking a hold of this bond, typically speaking, it is a safer option than a stock. Why is that? Because a bond holder, a debt holder, is paid first before a shareholder if there was ever like a deficiency or bankruptcy or something along those lines of that particular company. When we talk about other maybe advantages, disadvantages of certain types of bonds, or just the investment instrument in general, you think of like the credit qualityness of that. So there's just like you as a borrower, right? You have a credit score as an individual. If you go into a bank and you have a 700 or 800 or whatever that number may be, these corporations or municipalities get issued a credit rating as well. A little bit different scale. They don't necessarily have those numbers, but there's different things that denote to the investor the safety of that sort of thing, or how likely they are to be able to repay that debt to you. Taxation, some people like different forms of governmental bonds because certain circumstances you may get breaks on federal taxes or state taxes depending upon the issuer of that bond. So when you're looking at these investments, or really any investment, you have to determine the advantages and disadvantages of that investment, but more importantly, how does that investment match up with the goals and objectives that you have set out for your retirement portfolio?
Hey, what a great segment on the rules of ERISA and how that helps protect you in your different 401ks or your pension plans potentially, or even in the healthcare plans that they have. You know, something that happens all of the time here in the Cadillac office when clients will come in is they'll bring in their 401k statement and they'll say, not really sure what I have here. And, you know, to be able to educate them on the different rules that they have, you know, some are known and some are not known. You know, for example, the age 55 rule, where you can take some distributions penalty-free if your plan provides for that, or in-service rollovers. Keep participating in your plan, but you can roll some funds out if it makes sense. But I think what we get to do that is really fun is we get to strategize. We get to first educate, hey, here's what your plan looks like, and then here's how it might fit in an overall retirement strategy plan. You know, and part of the things that I know the other segment talked about a lot were bonds. And so, you know, a lot of those 401ks can be heavy into bonds. And then we get to teach, hey, here's what that looks like for you. Here's what that means. And then also potentially what some bond alternatives might be for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point in the bond aspect. A lot of people in their 401ks, as they get closer to retirement, they start scaling up their bond exposure. And, you know, oftentimes I find in the Gaylord office, they come in and they're not really sure what bonds are. They have a great understanding of stocks because throughout their entire investment life, they've been growth and accumulation. They understand how stocks operate, but they're not too sure on what bonds do for them. And you know, bonds provide, in my mind, 4 great benefits for the retiree, especially when you're retired and you want that safety, right? So when I think of bonds, it's much more conservative than stocks, less volatile. Great opportunity for income because bonds typically pay a decent interest rate on a specific period of time, right? So you can count on that income. There's also that security. I mean, U.S. Treasuries are one of the safer investment tools that are out there in the fixed income arena. So it's just great to understand those different options that you have. But also here at Centennial Wealth, you don't have to get all of your safety in the bond world too. There's different products that we have access to that can accomplish the same thing that bonds get, but maybe a little bit better rate of return as well. So that's why, as Jack said, it's so important to educate yourself on all the different options that we have available for you. So stay tuned. Coming up next, we're going to be talking with some kids and getting their view on retirement. You don't want to miss this.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, and to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we take a holistic approach to your retirement planning. So it's not just looking at what your investments are, but what is that long-term income plan for the next 30, 40 years of your retirement? What about taxes and what role they play in your retirement plan? Estate planning, what about life insurance, health insurance planning, all key areas to consider when looking at your retirement. So please visit our website or call the number on the screen. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for a no-cost, no-obligation visit. Welcome to a special edition here on Retiring Well we call Kids Corner. I'm here with my children Isaac, Noah, and Emma, and I'm going to be running through some retirement planning questions with them, so stay tuned. All right, so I'm here with my oldest son Isaac. How old are you and what grade are you going into?
I am 12 years old and I am going into 7th grade.
I'm 11 and I'm going into 6th grade. I'm 8 years old and I am in 3rd grade.
All right, and so we're going to be talking about retirement planning, and what better way to start off a 12-year-old than talking about what does the word retirement mean to you?
When you are done with work and you kind of just relax.
Oh, there we go. I like that idea.
It means being like done with your job so then you can hang out with your family. They go home and spend time with your family.
If you were old enough to work right now, where would you want to work?
Culver's.
Oh,
they have
Culver's.
good food.
Yeah, the double butter burger. You like the chicken fingers there, yeah. So that's a family favorite of ours.
Great Wolf Lodge.
Great Wolf Lodge. Okay, yeah. Why would you want to work there?
Because it's super fun to work there because being a lifeguard would be you can be able to look at all the water slides and hang out there all day.
Maybe you get to have a little fun too, yeah, right?
Yeah. I would want to be a hair salon person.
What do you think? What do most people do in retirement?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, let's think of Grandma and Grandpa, or Poppy and Mimi. What do they get to do when they're, now that both of them are retired?
They make us food.
Oh, okay. Yep. So they make food and hang out with
us.
Yeah.
Grandkids.
The grandkids. So hanging out with the grandkids, enjoying time on the lake in the summertime. Get to have sleepovers and things like that. So a lot of fun.
They can go on bike rides and hang out with family and just have fun. Because you get to go home and just do whatever you want.
Yeah. How much money do you think you need to retire well?
At least maybe over $1 million.
Over $1 million, okay, not a bad estimate.
I would say maybe around $200,000 maybe.
Maybe like 500.
$500?
Yeah.
You think you could live on $500 for the rest of your life? What do you need to do then over your working years?
Save up.
Save, okay. And like what, are you doing any type of work right now where you're able to save some money?
Yeah, I work for you.
Right, and what are you doing at Centennial Wealth?
I mow the lawn with my brother.
Okay, perfect, that's good. And how many years do you think the average person works over their lifetime?
They probably retire when they're 50 to 60 year olds.
Okay.
60 to 70.
60 to 70, okay.
20 some years.
20 some years? So like you think
10 years.
how old do you think most people are when they retire?
Maybe 70.
Right. Smile for the camera.
What a great segment. You know, watching that, I know Nick, yourself, you know, we both have 4 kids, and I have a new set of questions I'm going to go talk to my kids about to see their individual response. But you know, it's something that here at the office that we get to actually sometimes see. You know, you got to see in that segment when they didn't really know something, and it's no fault of their own. You know, when I have a goal for my kids to know stuff. Well, the only way that you can know stuff is to have a learning heart. How do you nurture that learning heart? How do you give them experiences that can be evaluated so that they can become wiser? And it's, you know, being vulnerable. It's admitting sometimes, I don't really know what I have here. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, no problem. You know, we're just normal people that love to teach, love to educate, love to help you in your learning heart so that you can better understand what you have. And then once you have all the data in front of you, then your decisions are much, much easier. You don't have hidden things that are going to jump out and hurt you. And so, you know, if you're sitting there and you have questions about any parts of your plan, feel free, give us a call. We love to get to know you and to help strategize to help you plan to retire well.
Yeah, I mean, that's my favorite part, is being able to educate people on the ins and outs of retirement planning. There's no dumb questions whatsoever. We love to educate. Yeah, in the Gaylord office, I mean, we're not covering just investment planning. There's questions that go along with health insurance planning, tax planning, income planning, estate planning, all those aspects of retirement planning. That's what we're here to do, help educate and answer those questions, any questions that you might have. So hopefully you found this information valuable. Again, please don't hesitate to reach out, give the number on the screen a call. We'd love to schedule that free, no obligation consultation to help you plan to retire well. Also, don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/retiringwell, and we've got a bunch more great information out there for you too. All right, we'll come back next week, same time, same station.